All right, Mayor Jason, we are live.
Thank you, Stacy. So with that, I'd like to call the regular meeting of council to order for June 28th, 2021. You have before you a copy of tonight's agenda. We will be removing item number 6, the Canada Day road closure. It's no longer necessary. And item number 8, in camera. We don't have any in camera. So with that, I'm looking for a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Sorry, Mayor Jameson, can you add 6E for excuse for Robert?
Sorry, we need to add item 6E, excused absence for Deputy Mayor Bouchard. Motion, Councillor Grunewagen, seconded by Councillor Chambers. Any questions? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. I feel like we lost, did we lose Councillor Willows?
Yeah.
Well, that's odd. Okay. Moving on to item number 3, any declarations of interest? Here he comes. There we go. Councillor Willows is back. We were just saying that we were missing you. Okay, so looking for any declarations of interest? None being noted. Moving on to item number 4, announcements, awards, ceremonies, and presentations. Anything from council? Councillor Dowie, go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. I just want to congratulate all of our recent graduates that I think most are all celebrated over last week. And I just want to send a big congratulations out to all of those young people that made it through.
Thanks, Councillor Dowie, and especially in these last couple of years going through COVID, I'm sure it wasn't an easy deal. Absolutely. Anything else from council? Nothing noted. I'll pass it over to SAO Smith.
Nothing from administration for announcements, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Item number 5, administrative inquiries, and I'll keep it with you, SAO Smith.
Thank you, Worship. I'll just note first off that our Director of Finance is still off on vacation, so I continue to provide coverage in that role. But we will start tonight's meetings with the Director of Protective Services.
Thank you, Worship. Currently in the month of June, the department has responded to 55 ambulance calls, 4 false alarms, and 3 fire calls. Our current ongoing initiatives are working on completing the ENR Fire Smart contribution application, if approved, of course. We might also look at putting some initiatives that the Department of Recreation has identified based on the available funds left over. I'll also be chairing the town's joint occupational health and safety meeting tomorrow at 1:30, where we'll be reviewing town policies in recent release of the relaxed restrictions from the Chief Public Health Office and making any adjustments if the committee feels that it's safe to do so. For enforcement, an unsightly master document was created to track engagements on all properties with more significant infractions. Registered letters have been sent out to inform those owners of the bylaw infractions and to request them to make contact with the town to present a plan to deal with those infractions. Letters were also delivered to residents with unkept grass and unsightly yards, identifying the issues on their property and reminding them of the requirement under the unsightly land bylaw. We have seen significant compliance from residents in response to those letters. And I want to say thank you to the residents for the quick response. We'll be following up with very few residents who did not address the issue in the coming week here. As far as department training goes, this week there will be no scheduled training as Thursday falls on the stat. So we'll be looking to continue training after that, and we'll be looking at conducting fire attack lines and foam as far as our subject. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Director. Any questions from council for our Director of Protective Services? None being noted, pass it back to SAO Smith. Oh, sorry, Councillor Willows does have a question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Two questions. One, I think we talked about, it was either the last meeting or the meeting before, about breaking out the ambulance calls to give us an idea of how many calls we're getting per month with regard to our homeless situation downtown. And the second question, and I think this was either brought up by Councillor Dowie or the deputy mayor, regarding the 500-meter section of highway in front of Home Hardware where the speed changes to 50 kilometers an hour. I think there was some concern about that. I can't recall. Someone was going to look into it. Thank you.
Thank you. I can probably answer the speed limit one. I too questioned that and we made a few phone calls, but our understanding is that there is funding coming and that the homeless shelter will be doing programming or there's stuff going on over there for them. I'll pass it to SAO Smith though.
Thank you, Worship. I guess I can start on that point as well. Just, I mean, it is outside of our jurisdiction, but certainly, you know, there's multiple parties there that probably should be interacting with each other, but we, again, the communication, as Mayor Jamieson mentioned that earlier on, was that there might be a reestablishment of those services, whether now or before the winter. So we can talk to the Department of Infrastructure and just see what they're hearing, what they're thinking, express our concerns during the, I guess, times when that isn't operational. The other point on the statistics, I do recall that the Director of Protective Services was able to provide some statistics during the call or after that question was raised at the last council meeting. We are submitting our monthly report for the next council meeting, and I think that's something that we can start to incorporate into that report. We might have a bit of adjustments needed to get those metrics in order, but we will endeavor to do that. I don't know, Director of Protective Services, do you have any stats or breakdown on the stats that you just presented?
I don't have on the current stats, but I'll be compiling everything for the month-end report tomorrow. So I'll be putting those stats together and be doing my best to break out the homeless population stats, and so we can identify the impact on the department.
Thank you, Director. I did, Brian, or Councillor Willows, I'm sorry. I thought I had forwarded what I had to you, and I will go through my emails and forward you what I have, and then we can follow up with our director and what he has for more recent. Any further questions for our Director of Protective Services? None being noted, back to SAO Smith.
Thanks, Your Worship. We'll move next to the Director of Recreation and Municipal Services.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening, everyone. A few operational updates this evening. First, I'd like to make council aware that the department is aware of the OCPHO's recent lifting of restrictions for indoor gatherings. At this point, we don't anticipate that our regular operations will be affected much at the community center. It will have impact with regards to room rentals and bookings. I think those changes should be fairly simple. However, what I am looking to confirm with GWT Environmental Health is if and how those changes impact our aquatic center operations with regards to limitations on the number of swimmers in the pool and some of the facilities that are currently restricted in the pool. I don't expect that those would be impacted by this. I expect that they'd be treated separately, but it's something that we will confirm. This and an increase in rental requests has brought us to reevaluate our current operations with regards to our concession operator. And we will be moving our concession operator back to their regular space. And that way we can make the community hall available for rentals once again. Rental requests have increased, and we do expect to need that room in August. And we're in communication with our operator regarding that. The pool remains open currently, and it will remain open in July. We have had some water quality issues in the last 2 days here. So we've had a temporary closure of the pool. Staff are addressing the issue, and we expect the pool to reopen shortly. Hours will be slightly reduced in July, given that we have our beach attendant partnership we're doing this year with GWTITI. Our staff we will have some staff stationed at the Hay River Public Beach 7 days per week with operational hours of 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. But we do have enough staff and budget to keep the pool open through July. Again, hours will be reduced slightly. However, we do expect to meet demand via swimming lessons and most of our swimming times remaining available. So we will have lane times, adult swim times, as well as family and just open swim times available to the public. As I mentioned, the beach attendant partnership begins in July. It does begin this Thursday. And again, the hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., 7 days per week. Sorry. Other programming to update, we currently have full day youth activities. That's in while we continue to prepare for summer heat, our summer camp. From July, June 24th until July 9th, we have full day programming available for youth, for families to register their kids while school is out. Registrations were good for that programming. And one of the goals for that was that we have our summer heat play leaders. They're participating in recreation leadership training that's being offered by the Mackenzie Rec Association next week. So we thought that instead of starting the summer camp and then having a delay while we have training, we're doing a bit of a ad hoc programming until we can start summer heat on July 12th. Other programming, we still have the multi-sport drop-in programming on the ice surface. Attendance has been lower now that school is out with regards to that. Very little oversight or supervision required by staff. So that will remain open. It is available to our summer heat and other day camps in town. But the numbers have dropped off a little bit for the multi-sport programming. With regards to special projects and funding applications, I can confirm that our trail crew started work full-time yesterday. So we have our trail foreman actually started today, and our 3 laborers started work full-time yesterday. They were doing a bit of training today and getting familiar with the equipment, and we are expecting them to continue with some of the work we could complete last year due to the rainy weather and some areas being wetter than usual. And we will be continuing with some of that work, and we've set objectives for this year for our trail improvements. I've resubmitted our application to Canada Healthy Communities Initiative. We were not selected as a successful applicant in the first round of applications, but the town was invited to resubmit for the second round. So that application was submitted last week. We've also reached out to Canor with regards to a scope of work, change to the scope of work for our Port Landing work this year. As I updated council previously, our north retaining wall at Port Landing was impacted by the breakup and flooding this year, and Canor was favorable to advancing those repairs to this year and basically just changing the work that we had planned for 2021 and 2022 and just reversing those 2 priorities there. And the dollar values are accompanying those commitments or that change to the scope of work. GWT Infrastructure have reached out and they're requesting a bit more information regarding our summer cap application. That application with was for some work at Port Landing, as well as some work at for the Hay River Golf Course Road, and also Vale Island Multi-Use Recreational Area. These are all applications that are aimed at giving the community access to recreational facilities. What we've submitted seems to be in alignment with their priorities, but they've asked for a bit more information on job creation and term of the jobs, and a bit more information on the job descriptions associated with the work. Lastly, we will be submitting an application to the Trans-Canada Trail people. We've had a few conversations with them. They've encouraged us to submit 3 applications. One of them to support our laborers and the wages associated with their work. They've also encouraged us to submit an application for trail signage, interpretive signs, and with regards to mapping and the production of maps for our trails in the Hay River area. And the last application they're encouraging us to submit is for trail improvements themselves with regards to resurfacing. And that includes a repaving of certain sections of our trails. They were very interested in our 5-year plan for trail improvements. And through those conversations and through reviewing the plan with them, they've encouraged us to submit an application which they said they could fund up to 75% of the total budget. That deadline is July 9th, and we expect to meet that deadline and submit all 3 applications. Those are my updates at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Any questions from council for our Director of Recreation? Go ahead, Councillor Anderson.
Just a great job there, and thank you for what you do. And also, we're looking forward to summer heat for the kids. That'll be great. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Anderson. Anything else from council? Back to SAO Smith.
Thank you, Worship. We'll go next to the Director of Public Works and Services.
Thank you, Your Worship. On the public works side of things, our new foreman has started now, and so he's getting settled into that position, setting up just some new processes and procedures for the crew over there at the garage. So far, it seems like it could be a good fit. Really taking some initiative on some things there, so it's going well so far. Public Works guys have been working on some watering and grading of the roads, trying to keep the dust down, street sweeping in the downtown area, and have started the painting of the curbs and hopefully getting to the crosswalks as well this week, and the flagpoles as well. I know those got started yesterday. I'm not sure if they're done yet, but other than that, on the capital project side of things, our 2 major projects are moving along nicely. The Riverview and Beaver project, they're making good progress there. We can see they're making their way up Riverview right now. On the lift station project, the progress isn't as visible there, but they are moving along very well there too. So both of those projects are on schedule, and things are going well there, no major issues. I had a meeting with our consultant on our zoning bylaw review last week. That's progressing as well. There will be a presentation to council coming up in July here by the consultant, and then a lot of community consultation to happen after that. They presented a draft engagement plan during our meeting, so they're working on finalizing that, and there will be a lot of opportunity for council and for the community to provide input on the updates to that bylaw. And those are my updates for this week. Thanks.
Thank you, Director. Any questions from council? None being noted. Back to SAO Smith.
Thank you, Worship. Thought I'd just start off with just a note about the cancellation of the Canada Day activities. So just for the public's awareness that decision was made thereof. Obviously, communication did go out. Administration sent out the communication on behalf of council today to the media, the public, our Indigenous leaders, our staff, of course, and yeah, I think council, you know, they made a difficult decision there, but it is certainly seems hard to celebrate when a lot of our residents are grieving at the same time. So so yes, I just wanted to also thank or recognize the staff, especially the recreation staff that did put a lot of time and effort into the preparations, as well as the community members who you know, were preparing for those activities. So as council mentioned and the mayor in our communication, we look forward to celebrating with the community at another time. We have received notice this week that 2 more of our ISIP projects have been approved for funding. As you may recall, there was a previous announcement that our application for the water treatment plant study was approved. There's sort of rolling out the announcements on projects throughout the territories. So we did receive notice of 2 of our 4 roadway projects, roadway upgrade projects being approved. That was Capitol Drive, which includes sidewalks, and the Industrial Drive paving. So we will be, I think actually this year we do have in our capital plan, it is scheduled for Capitol Drive to get some design work completed. And Industrial Drive was in future years, but we'll be looking at the timing of that. I think we have until 2027 to spend the funding. That application will be coming forward to council that contribution agreement will be coming forward to council at the next meeting for approval. I should also note that the other 2 road projects that haven't been approved yet, at least, are the Woodland Drive and the portion of the water treatment plant road by Saskatoon Drive. We did receive notice this week, or Canor announced a Canada Community Revitalization Fund. So this is a fund that's focused at infrastructure on community, municipal government infrastructure and vitality and social cohesion and reanimation of communities. So some of the priorities there that they've identified are around the downtown core and outdoor spaces. So we, Public Works and Services, myself and Rec will be meeting to review our plans and generate ideas there. And we'll be keeping council aware of progress through that, bringing forward that application to council. We did send out a notice of the 2 Cameron Crescent residential properties that we are looking to complete a ballot draw for. That's on July 13th at 10 a.m. in council chambers. Also related to land, we have done some work on our website as part of our website refresh project, and we've added a land inventory listing to it. So that's a new enhancement that lists actually our properties that are in inventory and available. It includes drawings and pricing, and it's just a nice, easy way for the public to access our listing of properties. And more properties will be added to that, of course, as they become available, and as we look through some of our inventories that could be added. We did submit an application this week as well. Actually, it was last week, I think, for the Green Jobs Fund. That's an application that supports funding that supports green focused jobs. It's a federal program, so we're hoping to find funding to further support our trail worker positions. We have been having meetings, myself and the Director of Public Works, on our truck water RFP. So we've been going through that to discuss schedule and planning. Right now, it's looking like we could get to a proposal state or an award of a proposal by September. Our asset management application to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities has been revised this week and has passed through the eligibility screening phase and is now on to peer review. So we're hopeful that we will get awarded money there to support our asset management plans. Also, we've been able to advance some of our management of the power franchise file. We have been entering into, or have entered into an engagement for the management activities. And that consultant has had some discussions with NTPC and our lawyer as we try to coordinate that some more and move that file forward really with better managing our interests and risks. The updated taxi bylaw, as we're trying to do some work there on compliance with the changes. So there's been changes to licensing and fees, and letters have been issued to our operators to get them into compliance with that. Also some internal updating on forums, etc. I had mentioned to council previously, or we've mentioned to council previously, that the NWT Housing Corporation had submitted a development permit for a duplex on Saskatoon Drive. That application was denied by administration, given the large variance on sizing for that zoning, so it was approximately 50% variance. And the process then would go to the appeal board. So they had indicated that they would appeal to the Development Appeal Board, but they have since withdrawn that application. We'll be meeting with MACA tomorrow to better understand some of the ISIP funding that's been awarded to the GNWT, specifically the $40 million for the Inuvik Airport upgrade. Just trying to get a better understanding of how that met the classifications and the rules that were developed by the GNWT with federal support for the streams, and how that impacts our own applications, and if we can get an update on progress for our other applications. We are moving forward. We have proceeded with a registration of the public auction for tax arrears. So again, this is the auction that, as we had to remove the high rise for procedural issues recently, council's decision was to move forward with another auction again in August. So that is on August the 12th. And I think at this point, there's 3 other properties on that listing. And just a note for the public and this council that we are moving towards council meetings, moving back into council chambers with some relaxation of the orders from the public chief officer, or Office of the Chief Public Health Officer. So we'll be off of Zoom, still be able to broadcast to the Town of Hay River YouTube channel. And there will be some allowance for the public to attend, but some limitations will be in place there. So some more information to come on that, but back to the council chambers. And that concludes the administration's update for today.
Thank you. Any questions from council? I would just like to commend our administration. I know that there's a lot of work that goes into these proposals, and we've had quite a bit of success. And without that, we wouldn't be able to do half of these projects that we've got on the move. So, you know, big shout out to you and your team, Glenn, and I know how much work it is putting these proposals together. And you're obviously doing a great job, because we're finding success. Okay, so moving on, we're going on to number 6, item new business. 6A, looking for a motion for the Family Support Center lease extension. Councillor Willis, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll make the motion if someone can bring it up on the screen.
Oh. We need page 2. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you. I move that the council of the Town of Hay River agree to extend the current lease with the Family Support Center under the existing terms for a period of 1 year.
Thank you, Councillor Willers, seconded by Councillor Dufert. Any questions to the motion? Go ahead, Councillor Dewey.
Hey, Your Worship, just obviously, I'm assuming the Family Support Center feels that this 1 year will be adequate.
I'll pass that question to SAO Smith, but I believe so. But again, Riverview Drive is under construction, so I'm assuming that it could bump them back a bit. SAO Smith?
Thank you, Worship. So yeah, it is going to be a tight timeline for them under their current schedule. But it was through some discussion previously from council and an indication to the Family Support Center. The thought would be best to look at this again a year from now, just to better understand that position. It was communicated to that group that after 1 year, at least this current council has an interest in ensuring that there would be some rent received by the town. So that's all been communicated to them, and they're in understanding and very grateful for the arrangements they have had for now several years.
Any further questions from council? None being noted, all in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item 6B, 2021-22 Community Public Infrastructure Contribution Agreement. Looking for a motion. This is good news. Go ahead, Councillor Dufert.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move the recommendation that the Council of the Town of Hay River approves the Community Public Infrastructure Agreement for 2021-2022 in the amount of $2,132,000.
Thank you. Seconded by. Well, everybody's got their hands up on that one. Councillor Willows. Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item 6D, Fire Smart Funding Application. Looking for a motion. Councillor Grunewagen, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move the recommendation that the Council of the Town of Hay River directs administration to submit a funding application to ENR for Fire Smart activity on the present ignition line for an amount totaling up to $45,000.
Thank you. Seconded by? Councillor Dowie. Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item 6E, excused absence for Deputy Mayor. Looking for a motion. Go ahead, Councillor Dufert.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move the recommendation that the Council of the Town of Hay River excuses Deputy Mayor Robert Bouchard from the regular meeting of Council June 29th, 2021.
Thank you. Seconded by? Councillor Dowie. Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 7, bylaws. 7A is bylaw 2431, fees and charges bylaw, and this will be third and final reading. Looking for a motion. Councillor Dowie, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move third and final reading of bylaw number 2431, fees and charges bylaw.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Willows. Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item 7B is in regards to bylaw 2430 LND/21 land acquisition bylaw. This is also third and final reading. Looking for a motion. Councillor Dufert, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move third and final reading of bylaw number 2430/LND/21, a land acquisition bylaw.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Chambers. Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. And we have no in camera. So with that, back to Councillor Willows for item number 9.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that we adjourn